Okay, so I don't know if anybody else gets into hyperfixations, but I always have a hyperfixation to hyperfixate on. One thing about me, I will have something to be hyperfixated on. If it's not obvious, right now it's kind of YouTube. Moving on. So, at a point in my life, my hyperfixation was plants. And the thing about when something, so when you have a hyperfixation in private, like you're just like all about it and nobody else gives a shit about it, that is for the best. Because then when you get over it, you just get over it and then you move on. It is what it is. But see, when your hyperfixation becomes obvious to other people and then people associate your hyperfixation as your personality and then other people appreciate it, it's like you can't escape from it. You literally cannot escape from these things. And it it's kind of interesting because this isn't really the point that I'm getting at, but I think a lot about how like we adapt personality traits or we adapt these little whatevers that we kind of like code ourselves with, and it's like these are my hobbies. I have to be somebody who's like the type of person who does this hobby, or like I'm going to have this job, so like I have to be like this type of person in order to fit in at this job, even though like maybe the reason you got hired is because they love that you're not that person, whatever it is. But for me, I got hyperfixated on plants. Took us 2 minutes to get to the point. I got hyperfixated on plants, and the thing with plants is I've kind of always like been interested in plants, nature, or whatever, but for a while I would just kill them. Like I had no concept of how to keep a plant alive. And then once I got good with plants, it was like right around the time where I was going, and I mean I'm still healing, but like I was really down bad, not healed like at all. And the plants brought me comfort. They brought me like rejuvenating energy. It was like having them around and gave me hope that you could grow something from the ground up, that you can bring something back from like extreme death. Like you ever see a plant that you're 110% convinced that that thing's dead. You put a little water light on that thing, boom, she's back to life. And I was like, whoa, that's literally me. Like, I just need some water and light, and like, I'm going to come back to life. And it gave me hope. And I would tell that to other people. I was like, I love plants so much because they are metaphorical for me. Like I love their energy. I love having them around. Like I'm sure, yeah, they do, stuff for the air and whatnot, and that's just a benefit. But plants were not only this like hyperfixating hobby, but they were everything. And there was a period of time where I moved into this little apartment. It was like 500 square feet, and I had a lot of plants because I came from an 800 square foot apartment, and my plants fit fine. And I didn't even have as many plants as I did. But I moved into this little apartment with so many plants, and it was such a miserable experience. And I understand why looking back. It had nothing to do with the apartment, it had nothing to do with the location, it had nothing to do with who I lived with. It was all on me because, to be quite honest, I was miserable and claustrophobic all day, 24/7, all the time. And you want to know why? Because I had so many freaking plants. And like that was literally it. It's like I was obsessed with them. Like I was literally obsessed with them. I had them everywhere. And like at the time, plants were also really cool. And it was like something that I felt like I could bond with people over. Like I loved going to the plant store and meeting people. It was just like, it was literally my life. I was obsessed. I got this one plant at one point, and it gave me 22 little like bulbs when I repotted it. And when I planted it, all of them took. And I had so many plants. If I can remember, I will insert some pictures over here because it was actually a really cool experience. But basically, the plants were everything, and they started to take up way too much space. And it was like I was trying to figure out like if it could be something that I would do financially, like as in like as a job, like start a business selling plants. And I was like, no, I mean the life cycle on plants based on like the space I have, blah blah blah, like this doesn't make sense. And so I was like just sitting here and I was like, I'm so obsessed with this, and like it's eating up so much space in my life. Like what is the, I guess like what is the purpose of these plants? And it was like there was a purpose. And I'm getting at that now because I realized it today. I had like a full circle moment with ChatGPT. Fun fact, you're probably not using that thing to its full potential because ChatGPT, love it. I started growing resentment towards these plants. And the thing was is I didn't have space to give them room to grow, so I had to water them constantly. They needed constant attention from me. And it started eating away from me. Like I would wake up in the morning and spend my whole day trying to water plants because it was like all that was all I had to do. I mean, I had other activities like working and whatever when I would work, whatever. But like essentially is when I was not working, I was like I was just worried about these flipping plants. And I didn't have a proper watering system. So like I would always have one in the sink, one on the counter, one in the bathtub, one on this sink, one here, one there. It was so chaotic. And keep in mind I'm in this like little box. And it just like sitting here right now looking back, like I look at pictures of that apartment and like videos of like just kind of me doing things in that apartment, and I'm like, dude, I can tell you exactly why you hated that place. You wouldn't, like, why did you need all, like, why do you need so many plants around, like why do you need all that shit? And I understand they were bringing me healing. I do but then this is what I didn't realize is I am sentimentally attached to things. I really am. Like I sometimes struggle to see the big picture of, I guess, the circle of life, in a sense that some things are meant to come in for a season, some things are meant to come teach you a lesson. Like sometimes I like to just hold on to things and not let them go. I guess it's whatever, maybe a fear of abandonment, sentimentality, but I say I'm overly sentimental sometimes. So basically is I looked at this and, well, I asked ChatGPT today. I was like, ChatGPT, I need you to set me free. Like I literally need you to mentally set me free because these plants, like I've gotten rid of so many plants, but I mean I still have some, and like they still need constant attention. And it's, I'm not into it anymore. Like I don't really care about them, and they have burdened me at this point almost. I feel like so much with the fact that they still need constant care from me that I just like don't like them. And I love them because I see them as these like living beings that are in my house and that have been with me through my life so far, and that I chose to bring into my home and blah, blah, blah. And so it makes it really hard for me to throw it in the trash or like just send it somewhere because I see it as a living thing. And I don't know, like something about the energy there just like doesn't sit right with me, and I don't understand it. But I've been getting more selfish recently, and the part of my selfish realizing is that if I am sitting here pouring so much time and energy in, whatever into these plants, then I'm not pouring it into myself. And to be quite honest, like I need to pour that into myself. Like if a plant is basically dead and it's honestly depressing me to see it, it's making me feel almost like a failure at times because I realize that because of my lack of consistency or whatever, this plant is not thriving. Like that's on me. And instead of letting the plant go, it's like I'm so convinced to keep trying to save the plant that I'm not actually interested in saving. Like that's the thing, is if I truly cared to save the plant, I could put time and energy into it. But it's not about the plant itself. It's about the feeling of feeling like I've not done what I should have done. And as a result, that is now what the plant looks like. So I go and I talked to ChatGPT and I was like, I need to know like if there's like in some culture like some significance somewhere of like plants being part of healing. And I'm not talking about like medicinally, I'm talking about like plants are seen as whatever. And it is. It's said that animism is animism and respect. They said on Google, plants are sentient. I'm sorry, I can't read. Indigenous, shamanic, and traditional cultures often view plants as sentient beings, grandmothers, grandfathers, teachers, rather than mere commodities. This perspective fosters a deep, respectful relationship where plants are asked for help. And ChatGPT referred to plants as allies, like basically saying like they are allies in your healing. And when that was said to me, I it immediately made sense. I was like, I have not understood what these plants meant or like what they are to me or like what it is, because they were more than plants. And that's exactly what it was. It was like they were there with me. They were teaching me lessons, like the life lessons that I learned during my plant phase. Absolutely insane. Like simply learning about things like propagation, learning what plants need to grow, learning about, sticking things and just giving it a little bit of time, knowing that it's going to stick. Like these things transfer into life for me at least. And it's taught me so much. Like I think in a lot of times, like comparison, metaphor, analogies, like to understand other things. And it makes it so easy for me, because the thing with plants is it's like based on science, so it's like I have factual stuff to compare it to, and if the shoe fits, it fits. And the thing about it though is they are seen as allies. And I don't know if the thing of animism like actually even makes that much sense here, but it's part of this, like I'll show you my computer. It's part of what I have pulled up from when I just like asked for a better explanation, so that way I had something to provide here other than just like what's going on in my noggin. Um, Give you like a big word, make sure I'm actually spitting something out. And basically is they are allies in the healing, but at a point, the thing with specifically plants is you are supposed to return them back to the earth when their job is done. And it's basically setting them free. And the next one here is reciprocity and gratitude, the act of setting them free. Returning remains to the soil is rarely just disposal, it is a vital, ceremonial, and reciprocal act that honors the spirit of the plant for its assistance. It is a tangible way to say thank you to the earth. So it's like those plants were with me. And I had a friend that fully convinced me, and I do believe it now, that if I talk to my plants, they'll hear me. And when you talk to them positively, it helps them grow and so forth. And just realizing like that is a reflection of how you talk to yourself. That's what I'm saying. It's so transferable when you just really start looking at it and being like, oh, wow, wow, wow. And I learned so much from them, and they've kind of done their thing for me now. And I thought about it and I was like, plants are just like, not just, but they're dirt, they're natural matter. So if I put it into the earth, it's not necessarily going like a landfill plastic whatever item. Like it's going to dissolve back into the earth. It's matter. Like it's just that's what it's meant to do. And you I guess, just have to be okay with letting that free and letting go of it. Like it's not like it needs some special place to go. Like you can just stick it at the, like, let it go and it'll just be there. And I once again realizes so much stuff that like I've carried around with me for so long. It's You don't need like a closure on it. There's not like some special ending. There's not this like whatever. It's You just let that shit go. And it sounds so easy, but it's like once I take one of these plants and I dump the pot out and it's gone, it's not my problem anymore. And like if it's bringing me pain and it's not serving me, it's no longer being an ally. At this point, it's like almost a burden. Then I'm setting it free and letting it go. And that's that. And once the closing cycle is a returning plant material to the earth completes the life, death, rebirth cycle, ensuring that the plant's energy is not lost but returned to the source of life, just sent back to the earth where all of everything is, and all the energy just goes back and flows, and it can be cleansed, cycled, repackaged, transmuted, whatever the fuck it's going to do, and go back out. And not whether it's going to come back to me, go, I don't know. I'm not necessarily, but so maybe I'm not going to say I'm a dumbass, but like I have an idea of some of these concepts, but I don't have it all figured out. So it's like I see the thought, but I cannot necessarily say that I know exactly what's happening. But I just trust the process. And yeah, so to finish it up, is the act symbolizes the release of the illness or the burden the plant helped carry, allowing it to be transformed or broken down by the earth. Sustainability and connection, this practice cultivates a radical act of belonging as it forces modern, often extractive cultures to slow down and reconnect with the natural world. These practices emphasize that humans are not separate from nature, but in a constantly interacting relationship with it. And that's so true. When life gets tough, they say return back to nature. And sometimes people make jokes and they say nature didn't work. I had to go shopping. Um, yeah, it's like literally, I don't know. It's all real. Um, but yeah, I feel like so set free mentally. And if anybody else has a bunch of plants in their house that they got during a hyperfixation, no matter what it was, you might not know what they were there for. Who knows? Maybe you don't think of it as deeply as I do. That wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. But essentially, is that they could have been there with you for something, and maybe they've just served their purpose, and they don't have to die. Like, you don't have to let them die. You can just let it go before it gets to this ugly mess. And it's not, I don't know, like I thought about it as even just saying like a nice little word while you put it in the trash, it's gonna help once it gets to the landfill, just break down everything that's already in the trash can. And that's how I think of it, is, not saying that it's my responsibility to say exactly what's going to happen and just let that shit go. And what's going to happen is what's going to happen. And I've gotten rid of quite a few plants, and a lot of them I haven't had this feeling and this sense of relief, and it's made me feel so, so guilty. And I almost, wish I could have had this earlier, so that way I could have like set them all free with a clear mind and just kind of let them go, because so many of them were like that, instead of like little by little having to be like, well, this part of me is dying, this one's dying, just go, go, go. And I don't know, whatever, if that was the point there, but just kind of letting shit go. And yeah, like, so looking at some of these plants and being like, they just look sad, and like that's not it. Like, just let that shit go, because I have to spend time caring and coddling these plants. And like, similarly to maybe issues that you have in life or whatever that you carry around mentally, it's like you have to comfort yourself and coddle yourself 24 fucking 7, trying to make sure that you can tiptoe around your brain and tiptoe around life so that way you don't fall the fuck apart. Just like these little plants. It's like they're not meant to be here. You're not meant to be carrying around this bullshit 24/7. Like these plants are meant to be in a fucking jungle somewhere growing big as shit, just like you, instead of being cooped up in this tiny little fucking pot with like just a piece of it growing out. Like you are meant to be so much more than that. And to just be containing yourself and like letting yourself sit there and just die because you're depending on other people to water you and do whatever it is set yourself free, let it free. And yeah, like that's my thought on it. I'm sure I'll watch this back and have like 20 other thoughts on it, but right now that's my thought. And I love it. Like I love it so much, and I'm so excited to go set for some plants because I'm trying to declutter the house. I don't want to have that much stuff around me. I just want to have a simple, clean space, and a lot of these plants are they're affecting that wave that I'm trying to get on. So we got to remove whatever that friction is or whatever we're going to call it. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed my chitty chat. Very much so. And I hope you have a great day. I would love it if you liked and subscribed. And yeah, bye.